Well, hello there, amazing humans, incredible creatives. It is delightful to have you here today. I'm Samaj. This is Creating with Samaj. If you are here for the first time, a very big welcome to you. If you are returning, welcome back. We've been here now for 16 days. Can you believe it? In the month of November, we are painting every single day, whether you like it or not, showing up 20 minutes, just putting some paint down on paper. And we are starting, of course, with our Canson watercolor, our Prang 16 oval, because it's available to most people. And I did want to mention, when you do get the Prang watercolor, it doesn't look like this. All of these pop out, and you can pop those out and rearrange them as you desire to arrange them. They were a scatter for me, and I just wanted to get them into their value. So I put the warms into the greens, into the blues, and then finishing out with those. And somewhere, I do believe that Chris Petrie actually has a video. I shared him with you before. And in that video, I believe he explains what each one of these colors represents. And I will put a link here so you can see that video. And it's a really great video to see how he uses the Prang watercolor, but he tells us what each one of the colors is in relation to what a real color might be. Like, this might be Hansa yellow, not sure, don't quite remember. Long time ago I watched the video. And honestly, it wasn't that important to me, and it may be important to you. You may be having the need to know those things. That's not that necessarily important for me. I just like to show up at the paper and see what we can create. So on day 16 in November, let's see what happens and what shows up today for inspiration. And goodness, it was a beautiful morning this morning. And maybe that's what I will paint here this morning, is just a little bit of something that looks like, oh, listen, I had the music in the background, and now there's commercials, and now my birds are excited. There's so much going on today, so we will just deal with it. We're not going to edit it out because, you know, life is that way. Sometimes life happens in ways that are unexpected, but we just roll with it. We roll with it because that is how we operate, that's how we function, and it just makes things easier. Okay, so remember, I think I shared with you the other day that that pen was supposed to be waterproof, but you can see maybe it's not so waterproof, and that's all right. That's all right. So yes, I have my birds. They're here with me in the room. They are two conures. The orange one, that's Helios. And the green one, that is Emerald. And I got them 2 years ago for my birthday. And Helios was actually more of a rescue. He was in very dire condition, overplucked, undernourished. And we're still working on things. He's an itty bitty chicken, I call him. An itty bitty chicken. But he's my little itty bitty chicken. You know, it's amazing how much pets bring value to your life, and how much fun it is to have them be a part of it. That's a really big sun. I was going to do a live today, but I realized that I'm not qualified to do a live yet. And I thought I'd already set that up, but I hadn't. So look at how that orange ran in there, but that's kind of cool the way that happened. The unexpected magic of watercolor. So yes, I thought I was going to do a live, and then that live didn't get to happen because I'm unqualified. But I'll be qualified one day, and you'll you'll see me doing a live dog darn it. Whether you like it or not, I'll do it. I might even show my face. My old man face. It's so funny when I look at the camera, make pictures, or in the mirror even. I don't look at the mirror very often. I look in it maybe to like once in the morning to make sure I don't have stuff on my face. And, you know, I'm not that vain of a person. But as I look in the mirror, I see my grandfather, and it cracks me up. It cracks me up that I look like him, like how I remember him being when he was my age. I do have to say I'm thinner, though. That does make me happy. Oh, the vanity, the vanity, the vanity. Where is it going to take? Remember Vanity? Wasn't she a singer in one of Prince's proteges? I sure miss Prince and his music. What an inspiration he was. It's really astounding how there's still so much in his catalog that is not even released, but also all the music that is his that you don't even know is his. Kind of sort of the same thing that's happening with the gentleman who just passed, the icon in music. Is it Barry Gordy? Is that the guy? I know I'm horrible. I don't pay attention to the news, but I did know that the guy who did We Are the World. I'm not quite sure who that is. I'll research that and put the correct information. Anyway, he is responsible for so much music that, you know, you just don't know. Like Prince wrote music for other people, and other people did his music that he wrote for them. He loved artists, and he would come up to people and say, I have a song for you I want you to do. They're like, but you're Prince. He's like, yeah, I know, but I wrote this for you. And I just thought that was the kindest, sweetest thing, that he just wanted to see them expand because he saw the potential and where it would take them. And that's co-creation at its best. That's part of just leaning into that intuitiveness. Have you ever had that experience where you just meet somebody and you just want to do something with them, something creative, because you know it's going to be really cool? Maybe you want to cook together or do a design project together, garden together, maybe do a presentation together, just because you just know that that experience will be incredibly wonderful. So I like to settle into that when the universe makes that available to me. And an opportunity from someone. I'm not even an artist. I just paint and show up. But someone recently reached out to me and said, you know, hey, I really like the stuff you do. Would you help me do the background for a book I'm wanting to do? So that's a big question. Do you or don't you? They want me to do some illustration, but I'm not an illustrator. I'm just a guy who shows up and puts paint on paper because it's a way to relax and escape and just be present. So who knows what will happen with that. As the person asked me, I was standing in front of a sign. And the sign literally said, it was huge too. It was like a giant billboard when they asked me. I was on a telephone call with them. And as I was looking in the opposite direction, and as soon as they asked me, I was very contemplative about it. I was thinking if there was a different way to say that word, but I don't think there is. Anyway, I was very contemplative in the moment about whether or not I'm qualified to do that. And I turned around, and the sign literally said, anything is possible. And I'm not kidding you when I tell you that the sign was probably 15 by 20 feet. I just cracked up. I'm like, if that's not the universe. And this same person is doing this children's book whom they want me to do the background for. So they sent me a picture of the main character, the title character, and they, wanted to have my feedback on it. So I said, well, what we really need is feedback from from kids. So the artist, the person who's doing the writing, has 2 kids, and they are 2 and 5. But the age group for the book is 5 to 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, that age bracket. Not any sooner did he send me the picture than literally I'm walking down the street and a group of kids are walking with their parents, and they are literally all 5 to 8 years old. And I showed them the I asked their parents, I said, can I just show the kids a picture really quick? I'm working with an artist, and we're trying to figure out the character for a children's book, and this is what we have down, and we want to know, what do you all think of this picture? And so I showed the kids the picture, and it was hysterical because they all reacted immediately to the eyes, and they liked the character, but they did not like the eyes. They all were like, what's up with the eyes? And so I reached out to the artist, and I let the artist know about that, so the artist is going to work on it. But what I thought was more remarkable about that whole experience was just how the universe allowed that to show up. The kids just showed up, right? He sent me the picture, and within 3 minutes, literally 3 minutes after, all of a sudden, this gaggle of kids with their parents all laughing and cajoling and just, being who kids are with their parents, full of life, come barreling towards me. And it was just delightful. And I was like, okay, I'm going to seize this moment. I'm going to seize this moment and see what happens. So I think that's important. I think that was a lesson for me yesterday, in that when we get the opportunity to seize the moment, do it. Don't let it pass you by. Don't think that you're not worthy of that instant that's showing up for you, because you probably are. It's probably something magical that's going to happen, and there's a reason that it's there. And rather than pushing it away, we just have to receive it. Because sometimes the universe, God, higher power, whoever it is for you, the great divine, I think it reaches out to us constantly and consistently by providing things like that for us. But, if we're not quiet enough to listen to it, we never hear it. So being quiet is always a nice thing. But I really loved how the universe just played that game with me and said, you know what, I'll give you kids right now so you can ask them in real time. I really appreciate you all being here with me. This has been a lot of fun. I hope you've been enjoying yourself and that you've taken time to get some tools out and to just practice painting. Because if you don't paint every day, you won't get... Not only will you not get better, but part of having a practice, and the reason for doing this regularly, you get to actually see your growth, but you also get to see your seasons and how you paint, because we all paint differently. We have our seasons of painting. We have ways that we paint and moods that we paint in and colors that we use in our palette and styles that we paint and what we paint and who we paint. Because the universe, God, the great divine, brings it to us in different ways all the time, and it's whatever we tap into in that moment that allows us to do that. So tap in, be present, enjoy the ride, and know that we are all creatives, each and every single one of us, each of us is a creative and has that creative spark inside of us, and we can do creative things. I met a woman last night who said that she was not creative, and I said that she was, and she says, no, I'm not creative. My husband's creative. He's an artist. He paints, he sculpts, he does woodworking, he does all the things, and I'm just a chocolatier. So there's no art in that. You just have to be precise in everything that you do. And I laughed. And I said, okay, first of all, being a chocolatier, that is a huge creative process. Just figuring out how you're going to get to the end result of what you're trying to create. I said, I have a friend in California who's a chocolatier, and I see what he does at the holidays and the things that he creates, and it's just ridiculous. And I am sure you are at that same level of perfection and beauty, and you think it's not creative, but it is creative. That just execution and knowing how to execute and understanding execution and being able to execute successfully, that, believe it or not, is a process of being creative. And people who are not in that mindset don't think of it that way. So if you are a person who's in that mindset, maybe you work with numbers, maybe you are a chemist, maybe you're someone who's a doctor, maybe you're someone who just doesn't think that what you do is creative because your field isn't creative. But there are creative things that you do within your field to get to the solutions that you get to. And you may not think it's creative, but I promise you, it's a process that's creative because it keeps you engaged in it. And that engagement is always a good thing because engagement keeps you coming back. And I hope our engagement keeps you coming back. You can always like the video. That helps the algorithm. It also helps someone else who just might need to hear the message today, whatever message that might be. And know that I always deeply appreciate hearing back from you. So if you would like to share in the comments or tell me where would you like us next to go in our painting adventure, I would love to hear it because, you know, sooner or later, November will be over and I'll still be here. And as we continue to paint intuitively, maybe we'll just have conversations. Maybe it's just us hanging out, someone that you can spend time with and make you committed to showing up. Like having that gym partner, right? You go to the gym with that partner because they know and you know that you're both going to be there and you show up for each other. Maybe in this art journey, it's just us showing up for each other, dedicating that 20 minutes every day to see how we can grow in our practice. Because growing in our practice allows us to see our potential and what we ourselves are capable of when we apply all that is possible, because there's so much potential. Like in the dawn of a new day, there is so much potential. So as we wrap this up today, I'd just like to remind you, be sure to like the video. It helps the algorithm, helps someone else get the message. If you enjoyed the content, please like. Please give me a thumbs up. I've done 18 videos now, and I have 6 subscribers, and I'd like more because I want to keep bringing the message. This is like the 4th YouTube channel I've started, but you know, I keep moving through it. I keep continuing on in the investment of my time trying to share enlightenment with you because I've been around for 60 years, and I figure after 60 years, you know, I might have a thing or two to share, maybe, but that's not necessarily true. But, you know, my ego is not that big. Anyway, I appreciate your time and your attention. As always, hanging out with you is always so much fun. This is always the most enjoyable part of the painting, when we get to do the pull of the tape. And I'm saving the tape because saving the tape allows me to keep reusing it. And it just seems wasteful because, you know, if I don't have to throw it away, why throw it away? Eventually I'll have to, right? Because it'll be all gooked up with paper and everything else, but Day 16 of our 30 days of November, painting together intuitively. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you today. I enjoy our time together. I am Samaj. This is Creating with Samaj. I'll look forward to seeing you the next time. And until then,